Okay, Storm Chasers, we're back today to talk about Alex Jones. Do you guys all remember Alex Jones? He literally was like huge on these internet streets back in the day, like mid 2000s, 2010, 2011, 2012. I think he got deleted from the internet like around 2014 or something like that. But anyway, as of today, he has been ordered to pay the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre basically $1 billion. I think the actual number is like 965 million or something crazy like that. But today, listen, today set a precedent. This is truly some Wonder Bread news. So let me pull up the picture. Okay. Let me pull up his picture. Come on now, y'all remember him now. Alex Jones, InfoWars. You know, he had his website, and I believe he was on YouTube. He was like on every major social media platform, and he was running things. He was the quintessential conspiracy theorist. Y'all need the Wonder Bread song? We got that Wonder Bread news. We got that Wonder Bread on. We got that Wonder Bread news. There's still last news. Bankruptcy news. Their billion news. Y'all victims ain't never seeing that money news. Gotta watch what you say. Yeah, it's news. We got that Wonder Bread, that Wonder Bread news. The government was not playing with his ass. The people was not playing with him for saying that the Sandy Hook massacre was fake and that it was orchestrated by the government so that they would have a reason to take our guns. Now, I mean, it goes much deeper than that, and I'll do a deep dive and give y'all the whole video later, but just to give you a quick little synopsis, that's basically what it was. He had many conspiracy theories as well. It wasn't just Sandy Hook, but the Sandy Hook took it over the top. The government is okay with some opposition, baby, but it's only so far they will let you take it. So we see what happened to Alex Jones. We see what happened to other YouTubers. We see what happened to Sneeko, Andrew Tate, etc., etc. Donald Trump was even taken from the internet. I'm just saying, Kanye West. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how big you get. Nobody is above reproach. I'm not saying I agree with this or disagree with this. I don't think this was worth $1 billion, but I'm just saying, don't ever get too comfortable on nobody's internet, period. Not your own website, not your own app, not nothing. You're not safe nowhere. I know the lawsuit is from the family. I understand that. But you don't think the government had nothing to do with it? You don't think the government was watching him? If I misspoke and said the government, my bad. The families did sue him, but you don't think the government was nowhere in this? He had everybody's eyes on him back in the day. Everybody. You think Joe Rogan them and UFC have 30, 40K when they go live? Alex Jones is shutting it down. Truly. But I'm not saying every theory he had was wrong or that there was no truth in it. But what I'm saying is he felt very comfortable saying these things because you figure I got free speech, my First Amendment. But the shit only goes so far. It only goes so far. He was exposing a lot. I am not surprised that he was taken down. Even if you think about it, look at what happened to young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh didn't Young Pharaoh expose not only Hillary Clinton, it was some other big government officials, and then I think he did like the president of YouTube, the vice president. And they snatched his shit, and he ain't really been able to build that back since. They're not gonna allow it. They're gonna continue to suppress him because of the type of content. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but the days of no censorship on the internet, baby, they gone. They're gone. Everything is censored now. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. Exactly. That's true too. Freedom of speech doesn't cover hate speech. These things are all vague, right? But what happens a lot of times is that when you have made a lot of money, because I didn't know Alex Jones had made hundreds of millions of dollars through his websites and his products. The man was was doing the damn thing, okay? But when you make a lot of money, when you're big, when your name is big, when you build yourself up from nothing, you do sort of start to think like, can't none take me down, can't none take me out. I don't care what the government say, I ain't changing nothing. You see what I'm saying? You start to get that way about yourself. Only to be brought down. I'm not saying he was all the way right. I ain't saying he was all the way wrong. I think he was on the sun with a lot of things. A lot of those conspiracy theorists back in the day, talked about how one day we would have a cashless society. We got that. Such and such electronic, we got that. Digital IDs, we pretty much got that. I mean, the chips, and the chip may not never actually be in your body, but the chips is in our phones, in our cards, our dogs. I'm just saying. The social credit score is on its way. I don't know if y'all done caught that. We'll talk about that on Patreon. That's on its way. So if you get out of line, you would be punished severely. But I just never thought I'd see the day where, a former YouTuber, commentator, whatever you want to call it, would be paying $1 billion to their victims. Listen, I said I'm going to do a deeper dive. We're just giving a quick little synopsis of the fact that he's paying $1 billion to. I know who Alex Jones is. I know he's uncovered a lot of shit. I understand that. But there are certain lines, no matter who you are, you cannot cross. You can be right all day long. He right. You think he want to be looking at $1 billion judgment? He's right. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? He can be right all day. He ain't going to be able to pay no $1 billion in no lawsuit. So then it goes back to, is it worth it? You start to think certain things, is it worth it to report? Is it worth it to talk about? Is it worth it to keep pushing it? Because he pushed it. You can only cross certain lines. You can only go so far. Like I said, look what happened to Kanye. I'm not saying Kanye was right or wrong. I ain't even going to talk about what he said because we already know what it is. But still, the Nick Cannon of it all was erased. Stuff gone in less than 24 hours. It's amazing. It was amazing. I'm like, damn. You know what's so crazy though? But to your point, I'm not trying to come down on you, boss lady, but just to your point, it's crazy how I can get on the internet. I can be damn near naked. Not an issue. You can go on Twitter right now. There's literally prawn. Hell, my dick is on my Twitter. Literally right now. No issue. I still got my account. But if I was to start to talk about this kind of content and I cross that line, that shit would be gone. So I could be nude, I could make prawn, but I can't express my views against it. It's crazy. It's crazy. The power of influence comes with responsibility. That is very true. Now, the reason why he was sued, many reasons why, but I'll just focus on this one point. In the trial, a lot of the victims said that due to Alex Jones's comments, their life was pretty much ruined, right? So they're claiming that as Alex Jones was streaming, making videos saying that Sandy Hook was fake, this is why, blah, 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 and he had hundreds of thousands of people watching him. They said that they would be in the streets and people would call them a fake and phony, say they were lying, call them actors. So the victims were saying that due to his rhetoric, our personal lives were very much affected. And not only did we have to go through the trauma of losing our loved ones in the massacre, we then had to go through the trauma of our communities and the public not even believing that we went through what we went through, calling us fake and phony. I'm just right now. They're saying all of his stuff, and see that's what gets me too, because two things can be right at the same time. Somebody can get it wrong on one end and have it right on the other. I'm not gonna say all his stuff is fake. I'm not gonna lie and say that. I'm not gonna lie and say that at all. But anyway, let's listen to the little update from CNN. Let's see. Let me stop sharing that. Miss Arian Rain said, I thought telling the truth was being responsible. You would think, but when it comes to the government, they only want to give you what they think you can handle. It gets deep. Would need a whole fucking hour, 2, 3, 4 hours to get through all this shit. But okay, let me play this. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
FBI agent in the Connecticut defamation trial against Alex Jones. 8 families and a first responder sued the far-right conspiracy theorist for the lies he told about the 2012 school massacre. This trial is the second of 3 against Jones concerning the Sandy Hook massacre and comes after a Texas jury decided in August that Jones and his company should pay nearly $50 million, but the Connecticut jury nearly $1 billion. Let's go straight to CNN's Bryn Gingras outside the courtroom. Bryn, you were in there when these really big figures were read out loud. Walk us through the jury's decision.
Big figures, John, leading up to the announcement of these numbers, even the jurors were taking a deep sigh. And there was just so much pressure and tension inside that room. And then what a release from these family members when those numbers were being read and tallied. I can tell you, as we've talked about Robbie Parker, he has received the biggest amount of this nearly $1 billion awarding of compensatory damages. And he just put his hands in his face. He started crying. And John, something I just want to tell you is that these family members have been coming to this trial for several weeks now here in Waterbury, listening through testimony, doing their own testimony, recounting where they were when they learned the news about their loved ones dying. And they themselves have become this family. And that is what I saw in the courtroom as these numbers were being read. They would be fist bumping each other. They were crying for each other. I can tell you that David Wheeler, who, if you remember, Alex Jones said he was actually the FBI agent Bill Oldenburg, and they spread that all around that they were crisis actors. They weren't really who they said they were. He cried for Bill Oldenburg for the amount that he received. Bill Oldenburg was not here today. He has been here most of the time, though. So I just want to really highlight that this was such a release, such a validation for these family members who have been really living through hell, waiting for this verdict to come in. And now they have an idea of how much Alex Jones and his company will pay for the damages that they caused, the emotional distress that they caused him.
All right, so there it is. There it is. Now we'll do a deeper dive. I just wanted to come and, of course, give that update. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do you guys want to come back? I think y'all said yes, you do want to come back to sound off. So we'll come back literally in like 20 minutes. 20, 30 minutes. I'll just let y'all come up, talk about whatever. Yeah, make sure you're on the texting list, 678-679-6077. Somebody said, does he have to pay that full amount? Listen, I don't know how that part works. I don't know. His LLC filed bankruptcy, I think, back in July, if I'm not mistaken. But he's already filed bankruptcy. But can you file bankruptcy on this? I don't know. I let the Ryan story go. Ryan from Black Ink. He's leaving Black Ink. Whatever. Basically, his contract is up. A lot of y'all don't know, when you sign on to do reality shows, at least with VH1, they normally put you in a contract between 6 to 9 seasons. So it'd be a very, 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 very long contract. Listen, Sasha Jones, I'm not worried about who said throw this wife beater away. First off, it is not a wife beater. It is a muscle shirt. There's a difference. Okay. You don't like it, you ain't gotta wear it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in about we come back in 20 minutes, let y'all sound off.